Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the main card fights for UFC 243, Whittaker versus Adesanya. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the main card. So in our first fight, we have in the welterweight division, Jumeau versus Diego Lima. So I'm not too sure if this is or will be the first fight on the main card. At first it was Holly Holm versus Raquel Pennington rematch on this card or something. Are they going to adjust it this way or adjust it that way? Are they going to add in a replacement fight or find a late replacement fight for Raquel Pennington? But I'm really just predicting what I'm saying. So if they make any adjustments, I'll post it in the comment section. But whatever the case, so let's get back to the prediction. I'm predicting what's here, not what's to be. I'm predicting what's here at the moment. So we got Jumeau versus Diego Lima. Both of these guys actually have similar kind of paths, not exactly similar, but similar styles, similar successes, similar weaknesses. I just feel like Diego Lima just a little bit better, a little bit more technical. Like on the other side, Jumeau might pack a little bit more power, like slightly a little bit more power. Definitely has a better chin, whereas Lima has a questionable semi or actual glass chin. They both kind of have similar, like both lose to better grappler, like grappler could take them down and smother them or submit them. Well, Lima's more so just get smothered. He did get submitted by what's his name? But yeah, basically the same. They could get smothered by grapplers, get submitted by grapplers. Then they can get whereas Lima on the case on his feet, he gets knocked out if he loses. Jumeau on the feet, he gets outpointed. I feel like in this fight, Jumeau doesn't pack the power necessarily. Like he's not necessarily a power puncher, so I don't think that's gonna be Lima's kryptonite. Shouldn't have necessarily too much issue with that punching power in this fight or in this fight. I feel like in fights that Lima wins or at least doesn't get finished quickly in or smothered on the ground in, I feel looking at the stats wise, he puts some more volume. He lands more significant strikes. Whereas Jumeau, looking at a lot of his fights, he loses. I mean, not even the fights he just loses. The fights he wins, he's always kind of neck and neck on the striking total or behind on the striking total. And Lima puts out more output. He lands cleaner strikes. He outlands his opponent. Throws more volume, higher work rate. And like I said, this is a fight where neither guy necessarily is not like a high knockout chance in this fight, or not the highest knockout chance in this fight. And I feel like Lima's work rate is going to be the tell of this fight. It's not like neither of them are going to have a huge advantage at grappling the other. They can mix it in, but I feel like I just feel like he's the smarter, more technical fighter. And I think he's going to be the pull off a decision in this one. I think it'll be pretty like closely contested, but Lima's volume and cleaner technique is going to shine in this fight. So in this fight, I have Diego Lima via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, Tuivasa versus Sergey Spivac. And this one is pretty clean cut, clear, just out there. It's like nothing too technical to say about what's happening in this fight. They're both strikers. Tuivasa has fought, at least some credible competition. Has experience in the UFC, has had wins in the UFC, and has been in the UFC for like 2 years now. Sergey Spivac just been in here maybe a year after coming, building himself up to get here, mostly fighting over the hill, long retired fighters or fighters that just weren't at this skill level. And the first time he stepped up, he got ran through. And maybe just Walt Harris is that good. But even looking at his fights, I don't see necessarily that much power coming from Sergey Spivac's punches. Like he has a decent technique, decent this, decent that, and he can certainly build and become a solid fighter or become a decent, even great fighter. He still has a long career ahead of him. But I feel like at this point, Tuivasa has experience. He has the boxing background. They're both going to be striking. It's not going to be no wrestling really in this fight. It's going to be a striking match. I feel like Tuivasa packs more power. He has more technique. He has more experience. And pretty much everything is in his corner. And then also it's going to be, this whole New Zealand, Australian thing. So he's definitely going to be more motivated and more amped to put on a show. I mean, not put on a show, but put on an impressive performance in this place. I'm not saying he's going to get overzealous and stuff just because he's in this type of environment and make mistakes. He's gonna go out there and try to put on a clean, good performance out there. Like I said, I think he's the better striker, and I think he can put him out. Better striker, better boxer, and I think he stops him in the second round. So in this fight, I have Tuivasa via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Iaquinta versus Dan Hooker. This is our co-main event. So this is a pretty interesting fight right here. Iaquinta had was absent for a couple years doing real estate, came back. I think he came back and was supposed to fight Paul Felder, lost to Khabib. Then got a fight with Kevin Lee, a revenge type of fight, but he beat Kevin Lee. And then he fought Cerrone and got destroyed and picked apart. And now he's fighting Dan Hooker. So it's like an interesting match right here, following his career. Dan Hooker on the side had some steam coming up from 145 to 155. It was like on 3 or 4 fight winning streak. Then got stopped by Edson Barboza in a barn burner, and now he's trying to rebound. So I think both of them really in this fight trying to rebound from a fight where they were kind of. I don't even say nothing like that. They just trying to rebound from their last loss. Not gonna say not much more than that, but let's look at how they stylistically match up. Dan Hooker is 6 feet tall. Iaquinta is 5'10". But the way Dan Hooker fights, he looks like he's about 6'4" sometimes. And the way Iaquinta fights, he looks like he's 5'7" sometimes. And given that styles and how they fight, I think this could play a lot like the Cerrone fight. Iaquinta is always leaning over, heavy on that lead leg, even if he's not fighting or somebody trying to wrestle him. It's just his stance. He's always fighting heavy on that lead leg, chin down, squatty type of style. And he's fighting a guy like Dan Hooker, who likes to, very good with those knees. He could raise those knees up real high, catch you right on the chin, whether it be a flying knee, a stepping knee. Good with the elbows, good at controlling that range, long, volume, heavy. I would say he's a heavy puncher. He's a sharp puncher. Those punches not had the most weight on them, but he can hit you right on the button and put you out. And the knees sharp can put you right out if they land. I like when being so heavy on that lead leg, not really being a wrestler. He's not a guy that's going to try to take you down, put you on the ground. That's not his thing. He's more of a reactionary wrestler, defense, maybe playing with the takedown attempt to set up strikes. But he's not really the guy that's trying to take you down. He's not the guy that's going to try and control you. He's more of a defensive or responsive wrestler, responsive grappler. So more so, he's a striker. And going against Dan Hooker, who's so long and uses all that height, and with Iaquinta dipping down, lead on that, all that weight on that lead leg. I think Dan Hooker chews that lead leg up, knees to the body, knees to the head. And Iaquinta, with his style, he has an all right jab, leans over. That overhand don't really come to where it's supposed to come. I think a lot of his shots will be coming up short. He's going to be walking to a lot of knees, getting his lead leg chewed up, getting hit from afar, and really fighting a long distance battle with a short distance style. And then I think it kind of plays out kind of like the Cerrone fight, but maybe even more dominant, or him getting even more dominated, not really having even having less of success than he had in the Cerrone fight. In the Cerrone fight, he had a little bit of success early. Then this fight went on, he just started getting picked apart worse with each round. I think this fight, I don't really see him winning or stealing any rounds. I just think Dan Hooker, like I said, I think style-wise, it doesn't play the best for him. And maybe if he was more of an offensive grappler, maybe more physically strong. But that boxing and that short lean over his type of style, I think it is all just sets him up to get picked apart. So I think Dan Hooker picks him apart from round 1 to round 2. Then I think he puts him away in the third. So in this fight, I have Dan Hooker via third round TKO. Now on to our main event. We have in the middleweight division, undisputed champion of the middleweight division, Robert Whittaker, versus interim champion Israel Adesanya. Biggest combat sports event in New Zealand, Australian history, as far as the main event. The rest of the card kind of weak, to be honest, kind of weak in my opinion. Not really much excitement or to look for, but this fight right here is probably, if not the best fight of the year, probably top 5 easily. Top 2 easily. Matter of fact, I'm going to say top 2 easily. If not top 1, definitely top 2. So, on paper. So, right here you got Robert Whittaker, champion, been kind of inconsistent as far as being in the cage for 40 years, but as far as winning, he's been consistent ever since he came up. You got Israel Adesanya, been consistent ever since he came into the MMA, undefeated, I think at 17-0. So he got a very solid fight, 2 strikers. But let's get to the good, juicy stuff right now. And with less talking to get to the juicy stuff. So, when I see these fights like this, it makes me bring up a question that I always had, even years back, 10 years plus. You see these amazing strikers in MMA, you kind of question, they're so amazing in the MMA striking, but how would they fare in pure striking? Anderson Silva went to boxing, how would he fare? And he didn't really fare well in boxing. Vitor Belfort, how would he fare in boxing? Probably be, they low tier. They wouldn't even be really world class technically with their boxing as far as in the real pro boxing circuit or pro boxing scene. You look at a guy now in this case Whittaker. Yes, he's a good striker in MMA, but would he be a real threat in K1 or any type of kickboxing sport? Maybe. But I don't think he would be no real title challenger as far as athlete that's going on a true tear and get into that position. Maybe just based off his name, he would get into that position, or somebody get injured, or they just need some new people to come in, he would get there. But as far as some guy that's really been super successful and been a constantly top ranked guy in kickboxing, I don't really see Whittaker as that type of guy. In MMA, he's dangerous because he can be a counter wrestler. He has good takedown defense. He can get back up real well. And then a lot of these wrestlers and grapplers be confused that they can't keep him down. And he gets back on the feet and he picks them apart. It's not something necessarily he just goes out there and just picks apart some of the best strikers in the world. He's more so picking apart these grapplers and frustrating them because they can't do nothing with him on the ground and on the feet. They just look confused because they wasted all the energy trying to go for the takedown, or they thought they were going to be able to do this and thought they were going to be able to do that on the ground. And then when they weren't able to do that, then they're just, just demoralized, and he picked them apart. So that's why I see Whittaker. I'm not saying he's a bad striker, but I'm saying he's definitely, I want to put him in no world-class, like true world-class striker. Whereas Israel Adesanya, he's a case of he's a true world-class fighter. I mean, true world-class striker. Like, both of them are world-class fighters, but I'm saying Israel Adesanya is truly a world-class striker, whereas Rob Whittaker is a world-class MMA striker. That's what I'm trying to say. And I feel like with Robert Whittaker's style, it worked in a way for him to become champion, but also working in a way that's going to make him lose his belt. Because as an MMA fighter, you got to realize you got to mix it up. And Whittaker does mix it up from time to time, but does he do it enough? And he that proficient with it enough to really be like a full roll around the champ, like a GSP, like a John Jones, or these people, or Cain Velasquez, that when they know they are losing in one area, that they can switch it up and like they can wrestle. You can do this. I really don't see Whittaker as that type. I see him as like kind of a striker, like a sprawling brawler kind of. I would say he's a sprawling brawler. He does have the other techniques, but he's really just more so a sprawling brawler, sprawling striker. And I feel like Israel Adesanya has shown that even in his kickboxing career that he was a top-notch fighter. I'm not saying he was never the best in kickboxing, but he was definitely top 5 up there, and really was destroying the guy who's currently the best right now in kickboxing in his weight class, and just got caught. But whatever cases, he's definitely up. But you can't say, oh, he's this good MMA striker. He's a good striker, just period. So that's what I'm saying as far as that thing. Now let's see how they're good at. Well, I see Rob Whittaker have opportunities against Israel Adesanya. I say he would have good opportunities early, like with the leaping and jumping. I don't see Whittaker striking all that technical. A lot of his stuff is just leaping, just find opportunities, jumping hooks, then a kick on the other side, or jumping jab, then a kick on the other side. Like, really predictable. Hooks don't really have no real inside game. He has a lot of holes in his game, but he's good at doing what he does. So I say early with that, he'll have more spring in his step and be able to maybe catch Adesanya off guard. But I feel as the fight goes on, that spring isn't there, and that's kind of what Joe Romero was doing against him in that second fight. Like, he let Whittaker, do all that springy stuff and blocked all the shots. Then he started walking him down, and Whittaker really didn't have that best defense. He was able to drop him several times, and just literally just walking him down, just tagging him, like, because Whittaker relies just on spring. If you're not give him nothing to really jump on, he really can't do much. He could try to kick your leg a little bit, do that. He don't really got no body shots. Like I said, no real inside game, just a bunch of leaping shots. So I feel like that'd be his most dangerous opportunities early with leaping shots. And definitely if he can mix in some grappling and maybe try to, catch Adesanya off guard, like I think it's gonna be a striking matchup, or like I'm on your level in striking, and then he mix and takedown. That would be a good effect. Like, let him that spring and that explosiveness. Maybe he can set off, like maybe he thinking he's doing a jumping hook and then go for a takedown. That can have some success. But as far as striking wise, I think it's all early. Let's see, like I said, wrestling approach early to tire Adesanya out, and then maybe mix it up to a striking game later. But as far as what I think it's probably going to turn out, it's probably be a more striking matchup. And he probably not going to set the shots up that good, so it's probably still going to be on the feet anyway. I think it's more so, like I said, jumping hooks and like those jumping shots early to try to come behind the guard of Adesanya and maybe try to tag him, catch him. But I feel like as fight goes on, Israel Adesanya, like, clearly the more technical striker, those shots going to start to break him down, especially with giving that height advantage with 6 feet or 5'11" versus like 6'3", 6'4". He has the reach by like 78 versus 73, 74. So Adesanya's really going to be if without that spring, Adesanya's really going to have Whittaker fighting from a long distance like he likes to have. Adesanya likes to have that distance, be able to put him on the end of jabs, teeps, kicks, like anything, like straights. The little, pretty much all of his shots, like the little sniper shots, keep him at sniper range. And without the spring, Whittaker won't be able to cover that sniper range. He'll be walking and stuff. And even if he tries to cover it, Adesanya can bait him. I don't feel like Whittaker has the most sneaky tools. He's good at what he does, and he can set up a lot of different ways. But it's really limited. And I feel like Adesanya, like I say, once the fill-out rounds kind of break down, I feel like Adesanya's going to see everything he's doing and start picking apart, chew him up. Whittaker will have success probably in the first and second, whether he wins those rounds or not. But as the fight goes into like third, fourth, fifth, or if it makes it to the fifth, I feel like those all Adesanya rounds, just picking them apart, have his time down, have his range down, have his, reactions down, and then start chewing him up, countering him, picking him apart, walking him down, and just picking him apart one shot at a time. And I feel like Adesanya eventually breaks him down and puts him away in the fourth. So in this fight, I have Israel Adesanya via 4th round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the main card of UFC 243, Whittaker versus Adesanya. And as always, thanks for watching.